The baby monitor only stopped working when my son was inside the room. And the moment he walked out, something else appeared. The first time it happened, I thought the monitor froze. My son was standing in his crib, crying, reaching toward the camera. Then the screen cut to black. No static, no glitching, just dead. I smacked the side of the monitor once. Nothing. Then my wife carried him out of the room, and the feed came back instantly. Clear picture, perfect audio, empty crib. Except something moved near the closet. I remember leaning closer to the screen because it looked like someone had stepped backward into the dark. But when I ran upstairs, there was nobody there. I checked the closet, under the crib, bathroom, nothing. The room felt completely normal. Warm nightlight glowing. Stuffed animals on the shelf. Soft humming from the baby monitor. Everything looked safe. That should have been the end of it. But exhausted people explain things away, especially new parents. So I blamed the monitor. Cheap connection. Bad signal. Whatever made the most sense at 2 a.m. Then it happened again. A few nights later, my son woke up crying. I checked the monitor. Black screen. The second my wife lifted him out of the crib, the video returned. And this time, the rocking chair in the corner was moving. Slowly. Back and forth. Back and forth. No squeaking. No sound at all. Just movement. Like somebody had been sitting there seconds earlier. I went upstairs immediately. The chair was perfectly still. But the closet door was open now. I knew it had been closed. I remembered checking it earlier because the hinges squeaked whenever it moved. Only now, I couldn't remember hearing it open. I closed it slowly. The hinge gave one long creak. Then silence. The next morning, I reviewed the monitor recordings. That's when I noticed the timestamps skipping. Not glitching. Skipping. Tiny missing pieces. 1 second here. 2 seconds there. And every single time a gap happened, something inside the room had changed afterward. The rocking chair slightly turned. One stuffed rabbit facing the wall. Closet door wider. Tiny differences. Just enough to make your stomach tighten. I should have deleted the footage. Instead, I kept watching. That was the mistake. 3 nights later, my son started waving at corners. Not randomly. Specifically toward the corner beside the closet. Sometimes he'd laugh quietly at it. Little baby laughs. The kind normally meant to make you smile. But he only did it when he was alone in the room. One night, I finally asked him, "Who are you waving at, buddy?" He looked past me. Not at me. Behind me. Then he smiled and said, "Other daddy." I laughed immediately. Not because it was funny, because my brain needed it to be. My wife didn't laugh. She stopped folding laundry and stared at him. "What other day?" He pointed upstairs. "In my room." The house went completely silent after that. That same night, I moved the monitor closer to the crib. I wanted a better angle. I told myself if something weird happened again, I'd finally prove it was just a broken camera. At exactly 1:13 a.m., the feed cut out. My son was still inside the room. A few seconds later, he climbed out of bed and wandered into the hallway. The video snapped back instantly, and someone was sitting on the edge of the crib. I froze. At first, my brain couldn't process what I was seeing. The figure was too dark to make out clearly, but it was human-shaped. Long arms, head tilted downward, completely motionless, sitting exactly where my son had been sleeping. I yelled for my wife. By the time she reached downstairs, the crib was empty again. We replayed the footage together. Neither of us spoke. Then my wife paused the frame, zoomed in slightly, and whispered, "Why is it looking at the camera?" I felt my stomach drop, because she was right. Its face wasn't pointed toward the crib. It was pointed directly at us, like it knew we were watching. After that, everything changed. The monitor stopped feeling broken. It started feeling interactive. Every night, the figure appeared closer. First beside the rocking chair, then near the crib, then standing against the wall. Always while the room was empty. Never while my son was inside. At least, not visibly. But there were signs. One morning, we found every stuffed animal lined up facing the closet. Another night, we watched the bedroom door slowly open by itself downstairs. No creak, just movement. My wife wanted the monitor gone. I agreed. But before unplugging it, I checked one last recording. And I wish I hadn't. Because in one clip, the figure was copying my son. Exactly. Same posture. Same head tilt. Same little sway when he stood tired. Only delayed. Half a second behind him. Like it was learning how to move correctly. The recording lasted 11 minutes. I watched all 11. And with every passing minute, the thing became more accurate, more natural. By the end, it moved exactly like him. No delay at all. That night, I barely slept. Around 3 a.m., the monitor started making static noises. Soft, broken little whispers under the speaker. I looked at the screen. Black feed. My son was still inside the room. Then suddenly, the video returned, and every hair on my body stood up, because my son was asleep in the crib, and someone was standing behind him. Tall, thin, one arm bent the wrong way, its face hidden behind his head, completely motionless. I ran upstairs. I don't even remember getting out of bed. I slammed the bedroom door open, and the room was empty. No figure, no movement. Just my son sleeping peacefully in the crib. I grabbed him immediately, held him against my chest, and that's when I heard it. The closet hinge, slowly creaking. I looked up. The closet door was closing by itself. Not fast. Slow enough to understand it was really happening. I backed out of the room carrying my son and never took my eyes off the closet. The next day, I called an electrician. Then another. Both said the monitor worked perfectly. No interference. No crossed signals. Nothing wrong. One of them laughed and said, "Maybe your house just has ghosts." I didn't laugh. That evening, my wife took our son to her mother's house. She wanted distance from the house for a while. Honestly, I did too. I stayed behind to pack things. And before disconnecting the monitor forever, I checked the stored recordings one last time. That's when I found the clip. Timestamp 3:07 a.m. I watched myself enter my son's room. Watched myself pick him up. Watched myself back away from the closet. Exactly how I remembered it. Then, half a second later, something else copied me. Same height, same outline, same movements, following directly behind me, like a shadow trying to learn how to wear my body correctly. I replayed the clip over and over. Every time, it was still there, mimicking me perfectly. Except for one thing. Its body copied my movements, but its head never moved. It stayed pointed directly at the camera the entire time. Watching. I unplugged the monitor after that, wrapped the cord around it, shoved it into a box, and for a few weeks, everything felt normal again. No movement upstairs. No waving at corners. No strange sounds through the walls. My wife finally relaxed. I almost did too. Then, last night, my phone buzzed. Motion detected. From the baby monitor app. I just stared at the notification. Because the monitor wasn't even plugged in anymore. Slowly, I opened the app. The camera feed loaded instantly. My son's room. Dark. Empty. Then my son walked into frame. Except he isn't supposed to be here tonight. He's at my mother-in-law's house. The child crossed the room slowly, stopped near the door, and walked out. A few seconds later, something else walked into frame and stayed there, standing beside the crib, smiling at the camera, waiting, like it finally understood how to be alone in the room.